iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiski Times or CEO. It was that the energy and the life was sucked out of us by the final from last night in the MTN 8. Today we're back to the bread and butter that is the Betway Premiership. It's Mamelodi Sundowns beating Magesi. That means Mamelodi Sundowns are now top of the log, although they've played one extra game than everyone else. Ikram Reina's back to the score sheet and also feeling a little bit more confident. Although we'll prefix that or add context to say that Magesi were 10 men down for large parts of the game. But the team that won deserved to win. Well done to Mamelodi Sundowns. They move on then to the top of the league. Magesi not looking so bad, but of course a loss is a loss. And sometimes South African football owners will demand wins even when they're unexpected. Lindo Pep, take it away, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Thank you. I just congratulate Manu Miguel Cardoso. Let's congratulate the Mamelodi Sundowns players. As sometimes about referee, they are always given a mandate, more especially Kuma courses to say, make sure that you keep it 11v11. Because most of the game becomes difficult to watch. But fortunately enough, credit to John Matuka and his boys.
Well, I mean, if it deserves 10.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's 10. A straight.
I think even Pirates would make a strong case yesterday that there must have been a second yellow to Janino Palace. And if it deserved it, I like Eugene Mdluli, he managed the moment, but if it deserves 10, it deserves 10.
Yeah, for sure. Let's give, and recently, maybe because Mamelodi Sundowns are a team that dominated the game, but there's two things that you have to give them credit for in this game, and there's positional play and the counter press. I think from a counter press perspective, they were exceptional. They made sure Guti Paula Mabata to go lose about winner immediately, and that was a very good detail. But also in position of the ball, because they knew that they had two responsibilities. They had to open gaps or Magesi, but not only that, control the game and also make sure that you manage the game, because you've got an extra man on the pitch, so you don't have to panic on the ball. You have to make the right decision. Meli Magesi to jump. If you check out the counter press as well, I think it was planned as well, more especially in the second half, to say, yes, Magesi, they're technical. They seem like a team that wants to play. Make sure that you counter press them, more especially in midfield, 1v1. Make sure that you allow them to have the ball, but press them, win the ball early so that you only have one pass or a secondary assist. We check about Aubaas, the opportunities that they created in wider areas. They knew that if by counter pressure in midfield, there will always be space out wide. But there's a very good detail maybe that we can speak about and make this conversation interesting, is the fact that Aubaas, in my opinion, ever since he's been at Sundowns, this has been his best game ever since Africa Sundowns. And also there's two things. He's a coachable player. He's a player that accepts criticism, because it's very important for football players to understand that glory comes with criticism at some point. And for me, that is open to criticism and is a player that can improve. Aubaas, when I watch him now, I understand that his game has certain qualities, and maybe there are qualities that he doesn't have. But to Miguel Cardoso, you have to give him credit in a technical team, because they brought out the best in him. And coaches have a responsibility to bring out the best in players. And what they did in him is that they made him almost like a dead center back. They were not playing him as part of the midfield. Yes, maybe in the second half they changed the game to say, hey, yes, Bana less men, maybe we can advance him, play him in an 8 role where he can advance nangama pass. But if you check out game, he had the responsibility of getting a pagat, Gube 3 at the back. And he kept it simple in terms of position. He made sure that Ipola, because they knew that Umurena on the right hand side, he's not the most comfortable in terms of position based. But yes, he's got qualities. Maybe he can run, he can hug the touchline, because more pass Ipola out wide. Passes are limited. The first pass is you can play behind the defense. Others is if there's an option in midfield. But more receiver central, Jongo Aubaas, you've got options for safer passes. You can play to the center back, you can play to the midfielder, you can play to the goalkeeper. So you have options. So that's why they removed Umrena out of the build-up. With Umudiba, they bring him into midfield to replace Aubaas in an advanced position in midfield, because Aubrey offers different qualities than Aubaas. He's more comfortable on the ball. He's got a pass that can advance. He can drive with the ball. He can combine. And then out wide, Babegu Matthews. But now Matthews will replace Aubrey. But I felt like the team needs a different quality there. And you've got Umapena on the bench, who for me, when you play a player out wide, it is the first point of attack, Mr. Nkeu. So every time you remember the Sundowns, when a team uses you as an exit player, there's two things. They've already isolated the defense. So Ipola Malia wide, they want two things from Matthews. It's either Magesi goes wide and they open the central corridors. If they decide to stay central, Matthews receives 1v1 with the fullback. So now you need a quality Gamapena, a player who knows how to dribble. You need speed, Saga Maseko as well. I believe that Maseko will space less Saga Matthews. He can shine there because he doesn't have the responsibility. two things that he needs from him. They can feed him the ball behind the defense, or they can use him as an exit point to drag Magesi out of position and then a combine a quick and get a boxing because he's got those qualities.
Kevin Hunt and Roland
Yeah.
Mokoena used him very
Yeah.
well. When he was under Kevin Hunt at Supersport United,
Yeah.
we used him very simple. We'll find you in advanced areas, score goals for
Yeah.
us. Run behind the defense and score goals for us. Same thing that Roland Mokoena did in the AFL.
Yeah.
We'll find you in advanced areas, shoot the ball at goal, and that's it.
It's very simple, Mr. Nkeo. And sometimes coaches like that know how to get the best out of a player because sometimes not every winger is flamboyant. I always emphasize this. You need a best of both sometimes. You need one that can do a double job. And Omaseko can do a double job by helping you defensively, but offensively he's got different qualities. And those different qualities is in position of the ball, they can use him as an extended extra pass. Ukuthi mabamniki ball out wide, he helps us to keep the position. If there's no run behind, keep the ball, wait for a support in midfield, feed it into Lentuza, make a run into the box late. If there's space out wide for you to run, you've got the pace, you've got the technique to deliver the ball quicker into the box. Those are the qualities. But now also, the responsibility is with the kind of midfielders you have. And that's why Aubaas, in my opinion, today played very well. Because, the example now, Tony Cruz, that about Tony Cruz are not midfielders that will akusabo Vitinha, abo Petri, abazo driver, elegant on the ball combined, but they can pick a 30-meter pass very accurate. Ngicela ubhekele Nkunzi pass ayishayela uMorena, very good first touch from Morena, brings in the balls from Morenas. They've got a strike. I believe the two Renas also today, they try to involve him
He
in the
needs
game.
to find his confidence.
But they, yeah,
Scored goals
For
tonight,
sure.
today, and maybe that's the first step to finding his confidence.
Litlaku. And the reason why the boy, in my opinion as well, was so exceptional in terms of my pockets, I initially thought that the boy is a winger. But today I'm seeing a different side of his game. And that side is, he's not, there's certain players, we were discussing here at studio, that they need to score when they're on the ball. But there's players that can score even when without the ball because they know how to interpret the run. They know how to interpret the space. They know how to interpret the picture that they see in the game. An exceptional goal in terms of the tap-in, it's not an easy goal because he has to anticipate, he has to read the game, he has to stay in the game as well. So for me, from a progressive perspective, he plays very basic football.
All right, we'll keep it very short
Sure.
today. I'm literally out of energy. Slept very late since
Yeah.
that MTN 8 final. Also, as Manchester United against Man City, we'll
Yeah.
have to catch up with that game. Shish is out on injury. He looks really sad. Let's maybe close it with that. And of course, Sundowns are number one as well.
Yeah, Mr. Nkeo, bathi mshishishelela, ngimbiza Ganso, the Brazilian star. Bathi thinta mntana Mulqabuza, one of the greatest players ever okwagcoka ijezi leMamelodi Sundowns. Obviously, Sundowns has so many legends, but I think in the modern era, he deserves it. Bengicela one thing at Mamelodi Sundowns. I know this is something that they don't do often, but for me, I had said that Umbule, Abo Tiko, they got stardom, they got the god-like treatment. I believe that the biggest god-like treatment that Umshishi can receive from us fans and from the club is for him to retire the number 18 jersey. Bengicela the club for Uti retire the number 18 jersey in honor of respecting the career that Themba Mshishi Zwane has given into this football club. Unfortunately, Umshishi, because he's never had so many injuries in his career, these injuries are starting, his body is starting to catch up. I love that yes, you are 40. The distance between 30 and 40 is so short.
It's only 10
but
years.
yes, it's only 10 years. But the body has lived for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I believe that Body Gamshishi is 36, 35 now. I think the body has taken a lot. He's one of the most hardworking football players. He's one of the players that has sacrificed himself for football. And I just feel like modern football, because of technology, science, running a lot, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a body
Do you
thing.
fear that, because I think that's where you're
Yeah.
headed with this, that these are the last 12 months?
Yeah, to be honest with you. I think these are the last 12 months. And I think he also has to protect for his kids, for his family, for himself. I think injuries are the most difficult things to deal with in football. Mentally, as he out,
Yeah,
as
it looks like he was crying there.
it's very emotional. I think it's the biggest emotional journey. I think most of us never played professional football
Absolutely.
because we struggled from injuries. And we didn't have the mental capacity to come back from that. He got injured with a big injury for 9 months. He came back, he was stronger, he was willing. You get the support from your friends, you get support from your family, you get support from the fans, they rise you up. But I think sometimes it becomes too much. And
There's also
yeah.
the reality that whatever amount they're paying him,
Yeah.
he wants to pay the club back.
Yeah, for sure, Mr.
He
Kyo.
feels like he wants to play,
Yeah.
to pay back his salary, whether it's 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, whatever it is. He feels like I need to pay it back by playing.
Yeah, but
and
then-
unfortunately, it's another major injury.
Another thing, Mr. Nkeo, at Mamelodi Sundowns, we love developed players. We love players that are professional. Umshishi was one player, Mamelodi Sundowns, that you are willing to pay your money to go and watch. And for me, That's the kind of player that he's been at Mamelodi Sundowns. The reason why my fans are Kwala at Mamelodi Sundowns at some point, he played a huge impact because he was not just only a basic player, a system player. The team at some point was built around him. It was built around his qualities and to suit the way he plays. And for me, he repaid the club by winning trophies for the club, won leagues, Champions League finals, winning domestic trophies, exceptional performances, consistent for so many years. The biggest credit, how we can repay Mushishi, is to retire the number 18 jersey.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much to Lindo Pep. That's Mamelodi Sundowns against Magesi. I suppose a lot of South Africans would not have known that there's a match because normally when we have the cup final, whether it's Carling or Black Label, the sponsor is given that weekend. But Sundowns, thinking ahead, they're playing Magesi for the second time. It's the second round already, even though it's the first 6 matches with Magesi and the Sundowns, because of course they're thinking ahead. They're always a Champions League team. They know that at some point along the road, there will be a fixture congestion. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times was sweating.
Boom. Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi bafethu, I'm a coach for life. They are back in winning ways. Please, I tell you to subscribe to iDiskiTV.